Good morning. What a way to start our morning this morning. Welcome to another episode of FluteSpresso, sponsored by Flute Specialists. I'm Callie Green Brewer, and I'll be hosting today. And I'm delighted to be here this morning with the fabulous Anthony Trionfo. Anthony, hi.
Hello, Callie.
So happy to have you here this morning. So, FluteSpresso is a live coffee chat with famous flutists from around the world. We encourage you to engage in the broadcast by leaving any comments or questions that you might have for Anthony in the comment section below. To entice you to join in the conversation, we'll be selecting one participant from the comment section to receive a Flute Specialist mug that has been autographed by Anthony. So definitely join in. These mugs are fantastic.
Yes, they are.
So whether you're watching the live with us or you're catching the replay, we'd love to know where you're joining us from and what you're having to drink this morning. Anthony, what are you having?
So today I'm having my Cafe Bustelo instant coffee in my Flute Specialist mug. And I also have some orange juice.
I love it. I'm being very basic this morning and having a homemade pumpkin spice latte. Yeah,
It's that time of the year.
It is, and it may be 95 degrees here in South Mississippi still, but I'm embracing all things fall. So,
Embrace it.
Absolutely. So, to start us off this morning, I always love to ask this question, and that is, how did you choose the flute, or did the flute choose you?
That's a great question. And I love that you added, if the flute chose me. I think I was destined to play the flute, to be completely honest. Mm-hmm. Growing up, I didn't realize this until recently, actually. I was always obsessed with the sound. I was obsessed with the Titanic. And, the theme song has that gorgeous, whatever,
Oh, I love
anyway.
it.
And I also, I love The Little Mermaid. Prince Eric plays the flute. If you're not familiar with that, I played lots of video games growing up. And my favorite character, when I was 8, I didn't start playing the flute till I was 11. Her weapon was a flute. So she would play and, entrance these enemies, put them to sleep, and then use her flute as a weapon. So there were all these things in my life. Also, I was obsessed with Sleeping Beauty as well. That's the Tchaikovsky score to the Disney film. Lots of flute in there. So I always had the sound in my head, and I was just unconsciously obsessed with it. And then when I was joining middle school, I saw the band perform, the Wind Ensemble, and in the front row there were those flutes right there, and then there were 2 piccolo players as well. And I immediately said, oh my God, that's the sound, that's the instrument, and also I want to be in the front row and I want to play the piccolo because it's so high and it's the star of the show to me. So there were all these kind of morphing things that came together, so that when I played my first note on the head joint, it was like I had been living my life kind of in black and white until I made the sound. And then as soon as I made that sound, it was just one of those moments you have where so much activity in the brain goes on. And I knew immediately that I would be doing this today. It's a very weird feeling, but yeah, it definitely chose me.
That's amazing. It's like your world was all of a sudden in Technicolor. That's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. I will say I also started on the recorder in elementary school.
Yes.
This is my Celine Dion recorder.
Oh, I love it.
And so I also grew up doing martial arts, Shaolin Kempo to be specific, and we did this thing called recorder karate, and I was obsessed with being a black belt in the recorder. So I practiced the recorder a lot, But, and it's an easier transition. When I learned that the recorder and the flute were related, that was another, kind of, oh, this is the next step for me. This is the next instrument that I need to play.
You may be the only person in the world that's a black belt in recorder. I love that.
We had to play Ode to Joy to get the black belt, and it was hard at the time. Probably is hard. I'm not going to embarrass myself trying to play it. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So I love that. So you said that you started when you were 11 playing the flute. So did you start studying immediately, like privately, or how did that journey go?
Sure. So I started private lesson. I was so lucky. I had two amazing band directors in my middle school, and one was rather proficient on the flute and could tell that I really enjoyed it, and I kind of had a natural inclination towards it. And very soon, it's so touching, it's so sweet, and it's really a testament to the power of music educators. They took the care, they saw that I was passionate about this, and one day during the band class, they had actually brought in a teacher for me to have a lesson with instead of going to band that day. Dr. Megan Lands, who's now in Colorado. I'm not sure if you've crossed paths with her. She's amazing. But I started lessons very shortly. Within a year of starting the flute, I started private lessons as well with her. And none of that would have happened unless my band directors, recognized this potential in me and my interest in it, and they set me up so fast. And it's so funny. This is me. I came to my first flute lesson. I didn't even know all my scales or anything. I came to my first flute lesson with the Lieberman Flute Concerto and the Poulenc Flute Sonata, just because I had been listening to so much music. And I said, oh, I would love to play these pieces. So I brought them into to my first lesson. And Megan looks at me and the music, and she's like, this is great. Let me teach you how to play an F,
You had goals though.
I was immediately like, this is what I want to do. This is me. So yeah, I was a bit of a intense flute nerd right from the start. Yeah.
But I love that. I love that you had those goals and you immediately were like, okay, I love this. I need to learn how to play this. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, okay, you mentioned teachers already and how, you had band directors and teachers that made a big impact on you. And one of the things that I did in researching for this FluteSpresso was just do a little bit of research on you. And I found your teaching philosophy, and it's really incredible. And if you'll allow me, I would like to read just a little snippet from it, because it was I want to know how you came up with this teaching philosophy, because it's fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
So one portion of it that really stood out to me says, I believe that no matter what your own personal goals are, musical instruction provides an unparalleled foundation for developing the tools needed to become your best self. That's incredible. Through music study, we build skills in problem solving, teamwork, stress management, communication, decision making, and organization, as well as learn the values of hard work, determination, perseverance, respect, and open-mindedness. That's a profound statement, and it's just really, that touched me a lot. How did you develop this incredible philosophy for teaching?
Well, I wrote that teaching philosophy a few years ago now. I should update it, but also I should reread it, because it's actually kind of
very good.
But I came to that conclusion in my I love to teach. I think it's probably the most fulfilling thing I do in my musical life, consistently. And in working with so many musicians, flutists and teachers, I came to it from when I first started teaching, I came to it from this, every student I teach is going to be the next big thing, and they're gonna win all the competitions, and they're gonna blah blah blah. They're gonna study with me, and therefore they need to be the best. And that doesn't work for everybody, because everybody is an individual and comes at it through their own way, and they have their own goals. Their goals are not my goals. So once I started to embrace that rather than get upset by it, because it was frustrating at the beginning. Why aren't all my students like me? Why aren't they bringing in the Lieberman Flute Concerto to their first lesson? What the heck is this? It becomes much more fulfilling, and the more I thought about why I love teaching and what we gain, and in my own practice and study of the flute, so much of it, we are so lucky, because it's a microcosm to live life. I mean, like I said, we learn problem-solving skills, everything that we learn through the flute can be transferred into our daily life, whether it's, for example, breaking your key in a lock, which I did yesterday. Having the stress management and the planning aspect of needing to overcome these problems without, getting overwhelmed or shutting down. It's the same as preparing a piece and having to perform for an audience. Learning to take in a good breath and to expel it for a long period of time. We train our nervous system and our cardiovascular system to respond to, because it feels like literally our brain is dying. We have to override all of these kind of natural instincts within us, to thrive and to make this beautiful thing. We have to learn our technique and practice it every day, the same way that we brush our teeth, for maintenance. And I just, every day, I always look for the connections outside of music while I'm making music. I mean, all life is chamber music, really, what they say.
That's good. That's a good quote right there. I think you should trademark that one.
I definitely stole it from someone. So
that's fantastic.
We do live in a capitalist society, though, so maybe I should capitalize on it. No, but really, I think of all the instruments, for me, I'm biased, but I think I'm so lucky to be able to have the flute as the vehicle for which I process a lot of my thoughts and the way I go through life. I think it's best. And come on, we've all been in an ensemble with people that we would rather not.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to overcome that is to kind of accept where we're at and do what we can to make the best outcome possible. And whether it's making music or doing a job in an office or whatever it is, going to the grocery store, even making a list, a checklist, it can all be related to our flute playing. So yeah, it's a very holistic approach. And when I'm teaching, my goal is, well, it's not a goal. All my students do get better at the flute, but my main goal is for them to become more open-minded, hardworking, persevering people. Cultivate the whole person as a whole.
I think that's really the mark of an amazing teacher. So I think that's fantastic. That really did stick out to me when I read that. It immediately inspired me for my own studio and my own teaching. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
So in addition to your teaching, you have so many other projects going on.
Sure.
You're a busy person. You really are a busy person. So one of the things that I know that you are involved in is the Umoja Flute Institute. So can you tell us a little bit about that and why you are so passionate about it?
Sure. So the Umoja Flute Institute was created in 2020. Valerie Coleman she made a Facebook group for Black flutists. And she said, it was the time of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and the protests and COVID. And, our racial reckoning was really at a head, and it's still by no means over. But so many people were thinking about it on a deep level for probably the first time in their lives. So she created this group on Facebook, and she said, you guys, we need to lift our spirits. We need something. Why don't we create something through this Facebook? And there were, 50, lots of people. And through it, there were a group of maybe 15 or so flutists with myself, and including Jackie Arrington in University of Oregon, Brian Dunbar, SUNY Potsdam, Adam Eccleston, Holly Shagbasan, a whole group of wonderful flutists who came together. And we decided to create this nonprofit organization. And our mission is to provide the tools needed to help flutists of African descent succeed and thrive at all levels of music making. So it's this group of Black flutists, although we're for everyone, and we help provide, scholarships or application materials for getting education, help with finding instruments, making connections, providing master classes. Basically, all of our members are free to interact with any of the board members at any time for mentoring. And we're in it's 2023. Yeah, we're in our third year, and we've been having festivals once a year. similar to other organizations. The first two were entirely online via Zoom. Mm-hmm. But this past year, we had our first in-person festival hosted at Tennessee State University with Dr. Ashley Crawford. And we also performed at NFA this past summer with the work we commissioned by Allison Loggins Hole. So it's amazing to see our organization continue to grow. And also for me specifically, it's amazing and it's so fulfilling because it is a lot of work to run any organization or be a part of it. To see how needed it is and how grateful so many of our members are to feel like they have a community where they belong, and to create those spaces that are needed. So I'm very passionate about it because throughout my entire musical education and to this day, you know, I wouldn't say I've relied on it, but I've so greatly appreciated the community that I've had built around me and the support around me. So to continue to do that for other people on the best level we can is what it's about.
It is, and giving an opportunity to those who may not. I was very fortunate also, like you, having band directors who were very, very involved in making sure I had everything that I needed, having flute instructors and lessons, and you're giving an opportunity to those who might not have those opportunities otherwise, and that is so needed.
Right, and it's, you know, our members are all over the world, and they're also all ages and all levels of playing. You know, we accept everyone, and there's so much of kind of hesitation about, oh, can I be a part of this flute community? I don't feel like I'm good enough. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. It's not about that at all. And so we're really fostering such a wonderful community. And I'm really excited for the future and the projects we have working towards doing that. And yeah, it's amazing. It's really beautiful. So thanks, Valerie.
Yes, I was going to say thank you so much to all of you who are involved in that. And I can't wait to see what the future holds. I can't wait to watch. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, you can check out our website, ufinstitute.com. And you can shoot us an email. You can donate if you like, you know, ask a question. Yeah, we'd love to interact with you.
Great. Thank you so much for that information. So I know that I had seen you a few times at NFA. You were so busy at NFA this year.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was definitely my most extensive NFA. The only other time I had been, I was in the Las Vegas convention a few years ago. I'm from Las Vegas, so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I was just a little high school student, you know, bright-eyed and seeing all these famous people and listening to all the performances. And then I was in Chicago. Was that 2 years?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was there for less than 24 hours. I just judged a competition and then I was out. And then this past summer, I did quite a few performances, and it was. Everybody always says, "Oh, NFA is so draining," and I was like, "Yeah. I understand now." But it was amazing, and it was a real full circle moment for me, you know, coming to the first time I went, just seeing and observing and being so like awestruck to actually getting to perform in some big concerts for everyone. It was amazing. It was amazing.
This was my first year working the convention, so definitely understand what you mean. I think I've told people this several times. I both knew and did not know how busy NFA was, but I'm kind of like you. I remember very vividly when I was in high school, when I walked into my first NFA and I saw just this endless sea of flutes and booths. And I mean, it's an incredible memory, I think, for all of us.
Oh yeah. And I'm already looking forward to the next one, though. You know, we put ourselves through it.
We put ourselves through the ringer, and we're like, okay, let's do it again. Let's just do that again. That was fun.
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, it was so great, and just the community. So many people that you either know through Instagram or Facebook, or you went to school with a long time ago. It's such a nexus, seeing all of your teachers, because we're all there. We're all flute nerds to some extent. We have something to talk about, and yeah, it was good for my soul.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The flute industry is a lot smaller than you think. You know, it really is. We all seem to know each other.
Yeah, really, really is.
So I know that you play on a Burkhardt flute.
I do.
Yes, and I heard that you got a new head joint during NFA. So I want to know about this new head joint.
Sure. So what do you want to hear about first? My flute or the new head joint?
Let's do flute first, and then let's move to the head joint.
So this is my flute. It is I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, because she has this gold head joint. It's a 19.5 carat C4 cut. So it's 19.5 tube, 14 karat gold, lip plate and riser and crown. And then the body is an Elite 998 silver. So it's their more dense silver with a splitty mechanism, offset G, C sharp trill.
All the bells
No,
and whistles.
no gizmo here. I don't need that. And I love it. Actually, it's kind of a funny story I want to tell you about how I came to get this flute. So I played on a Powell Sonare from the time I was 12 through the time I was 21. It's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was in my second year of undergrad, I was long overdue, I think, for a new flute, and I was trying everything for over a year, and it was exhausting, and I didn't even know if I knew how to play the flute anymore because you're just like, what do I even want? It's crazy. I had found an amazing flute, and I was literally looking on my phone at the contract for payment options to buy this flute. I was literally on my, and then I got a call from a random number in Massachusetts, and I was like, "Who's this? Hello? Hi, this is Ethan Lynn from Burkhardt. I heard you're looking for flutes. I'm coming to LA. Would you like to try some?" And in my head, I was like, I already found this lovely instrument. Like, I'm done. But I said, sure. So he came. I extended my trial with the other flute, which I was getting in trouble because somebody else wanted it. And I tried all these flutes blind. And Ethan was so helpful, going back and forth. But when I came to this combination, it was similar to like when I played the flute for the first time. Like, I felt the sound much more, and it had just this. It was a B flat above the staff, like like Syrinx. It had such a golden quality, kind of Jeannie Backstresser-esque, if you know that kind of shimmer. That's something I'd always been searching for, and I got it. I'd never found it on another flute, and I was immediately like, this is it, I know. And it was cool because afterwards in the rundown, Ethan was saying that whenever I tried this body, this specific one, on any head joint, I liked it no matter what. It was just a matter of getting to this combination and then I found it. So it was like the universe was like, you're not getting that other flute, you're getting this Burkhardt flute. And I can't tell you, I'm still learning so much about my playing. I freaking love my flute, and it also takes quite the beating because I'm traveling all the time. I play hard anyway. But yes, at NFA, Flute Nerd Talk.
Yes.
NFA, I was, I'm always trying things, and I always come back to my Burkhardt. My Burkhardt is still number one in my head. But the first day of NFA, I was trying all the booths because what else do you do? That's like the best part, in my opinion. And I came across the Song head joint booth, and I tried this lovely head joint on the first day. And I had another one of those moments. It was like a vortex. It felt like a vortex of sound, And I do a lot of concertos, so I could tell immediately that the sound would go straight to the back of the hall, and the ease was amazing. The flexibility was amazing. So I said, "Wow, this is a head joint that and I was also in the mood to spend some money. I had gone to the NFA. Well, one of my friends convinced me, like, you should buy something. Just buy something. I was like, okay, whatever. But so I tried this the first day. Was really struck by it. I came back the next day to try it again, and same thing. I was surprised by how much I liked it again. So then I think I came back 3 times. Yeah, on the third time maybe I took it on a trial, and NFA was great because I had Nancy Stagnita, one of my old teachers there. She listened to me blind. I had a few of my students there. She listened to me blind. Hannah Hamill, one of my friends, listened to me. And they all chose this head joint combination as well. I even went to the Burkhart booth, had them listen to it, and yeah, it sounds different. Sounds interesting. And so I got it. And yeah, it's lovely. It's all silver, but it has some gold wings and this beautiful engraving. There's a ruby in the crown.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Pardon me.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That may be my next purchase. Something for the crown of my flute.
This is not a paid advertisement by any means, but if you have not tried a song head joint, they take, what I like is they take a massive amount of air, but they also take a very small amount of air. They're extremely flexible. The intonation, great. The articulation, very clear. What I love is that it inspires me to want to create more music. I get inspired by the sounds that are able to come out. So it's nice to have some variety, but at the end of the day, this is still my tried and true, but I'm building my collection.
I love that. Well, does your head joint have a name? I mean, I know we have Aurora. We have to give the head joint a name too.
Well, I don't have a name for it yet, but this one is definitely more masculine than this one. I would say than my Burkhart.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to think about that and get back to me because I got to know. My flute's name is Isabella.
Isabella. Aww.
Isabella. She's been with me for quite some time.
I'm so happy you named your flute. I'm always asking people, oh, do you have a name for yours? And I either get an enthusiastic answer, but most of the time it's like a, what do you mean?
But they have their own personalities, so they need their own name.
They do, and it's a working relationship, it's a real relationship. You got to treat it nicely. Sometimes they're finicky,
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been so fantastic. Okay. I always like to end up these FluteSpressos with like a lightning round. So I'm going to shoot some questions to you and you're just going to answer them really quickly. So are you ready?
Let me get my espresso brain going. So
that's right. Let's get some coffee.
Okay.
All right. So my first one, what is your favorite piece of all time that you've ever played?
It's the Suite de Trois Morceaux, Benjamin. Yeah. I will play that for the rest of my life. Yeah, I love it.
Incredible. Yeah. I love that one. I haven't done that one lately with any of my students, and now I'm getting some inspiration. Maybe we might do that.
I literally just remembered I had a dream about playing that piece and teaching it yesterday, last night. Wow. Yeah.
See, it was meant for me to ask you that question.
Yeah, those are my
All right. I already asked you what flute you play. So next question. What is your favorite coffee beverage?
Ooh, I love a great latte will be amazing. I generally love an Americano, quad Americano. I'm a caffeine freak.
Same.
I love espresso, but a good latte, if it's really good, will make my day.
That's what I'm drinking this morning. So who is your favorite artist? Could be flute or otherwise. Who's your favorite artist?
Oh, sheesh. My favorite artist, I would have to say right now is, this is just going to be so bad. I love Kim Petras. She's a pop star. I don't know. She's my favorite right now. She just released a new album, 2 new albums. I'm going to her concert. I got tickets. The date was changed. I was not going to be in town, but now I'm in town. It was another meant to be moment. And she embodies what I try to bring into my performances, which is literally performing, pop diva. That's what I try to give on stage. So
I love that. You get your inspiration everywhere. That's fantastic. Yeah. Good. All right. What is your favorite musical memory?
One of my favorites. This just came up. So it was my first performance. I played for the winter concert and band. I played the Pink Panther. I worked on that for so long as a little 11th grader, and I got a standing ovation. And that, I felt like that was my first time being like a soloist. And I was, in my head, I was like, I'm going to be the next Carol Winsence. So
I love it.
That was my first moment feeling like that.
Yeah. That's amazing. You're actually in one of my favorite musical memories, and that was the concert that you did with the Gulf Coast Symphony Orchestra. When we
Yes,
came down, I played piccolo on that concert,
yes,
and
you did.
it was so much fun.
That was
Everything that you played was fantastic.
that was a great concert. I loved being there. It was such an
Mhm.
I had such great red beans and rice. Anyway, yeah,
Cooked in here for sure. That Southern
singing with the
hospitality.
orchestra, and I believe I also went out into the community and worked with schools while I was there, and that was great too.
You did. You actually went to the school that my husband teaches at,
Mhm.
Pascagoula High School, and you went to some of the elementaries and stuff. And I thought that that was really, really important and speaks to who you are as a
Right.
flutist and as a teacher because you brought that education aspect to going and doing all of this performing. And I really love that about you.
Thank you. That's what it's about. I mean,
It is.
that's really what it's about.
It really is. It really is. Well, this has seriously just been so fantastic. I've enjoyed chatting with you so much this morning. So thank you for sharing your time with us.
No, thank you for having me. This has been a lovely what is it called? Mid-morning?
Mid-morning coffee chat. That's right. So we appreciate everyone for being patient with us with our technical difficulties last week. We got everything fixed. But if you subscribe to our newsletter, you will see a link that has a link to our YouTube channel. So this FluteSpresso will be available there in probably a couple of days after we get everything nice and edited. And then any FluteSpresso episodes that we have in the past with all these famous flute players that are doing these interviews with us. And we are so appreciative. So be sure to like and subscribe to the Flute Specialist social media pages and our monthly newsletter for future events, updates, and announcements.
Woo!
We look forward to seeing you at our next FluteSpresso. So cheers.
Cheers.